Hi everyone, today's date is the 9th of March 2025. Welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton. I'm the narrator of this video clip and all my other video clips on my YouTube channel. Okay, so my channel is actually dedicated to victims of trafficking in persons cases like mine. So this picture here, I'm definitely a victim of a project of an illegal scientific experiment. I'm a survivor of it, and this here is my how I would describe what everyone has done to me, whoever's behind it. This is where the coding of actual individuals and then the coding is actually consistent with the misuse of devices, which makes myself in danger all the time, and the victims that are within my environment at that point in time of the crime scene when all these things took place, going back when I was working for my employer, the Ministry of Justice. So basically I'm just undoing everything in regards to my court case and making the actual facts come to life. So the purpose of the my video YouTube channel is it is an exhibit of my own testimony, my own entity, and my own personal incidents that took place while I was going through life, and it's actually referred also to my court case in the High Court, in the civil and the criminal jurisdiction. So this here is exactly what it looks like. It also explains the reason why people are doing zombie, behaving not normal. Okay, so I have found since I lost my privacy, since I've done this to me, people have treated me like some kind of object and acting very strange, nothing natural about a lot of their mannerism or the way they act. I felt like they know who I am and I don't know who they are. The problem that I've had with the environment that I've had to go through by myself historically is that they are using their jobs. The bus drivers are using their jobs. Taxi drivers are using their jobs to keep track of you, easy for them to keep track of. They eventually treat the victims like they're some kind of an object. Okay, so that explains the reason why people behave zombie, or they call themselves shadow people. But you and your family are in a very serious, dangerous set of circumstances, and I'm evidential of why human trafficking by force or any kind of trafficking ring is illegal in any generation. But it does come from, the criminal motives and intent eventually accumulates, and lots of incidents takes place, privacy invasion takes place, and it is 100%. Category 4 is the terminology for this new age criminal system, but it is 100% indictable offences, all starting from unlawful investigations and privacy breaches. Okay, so what's happened to me is they pin you down, and you are actually glued to the people who are micromanaging. Well, they call it micromanaging, but in the legal system, it's called organised criminal group. Okay, let's just check on that. Okay, I'm just bringing that up in the legislation. It's the Crimes Act 1961. A lot of the laws on this act has actually been deleted to cater for this new age system to actually work. So that is why they've actually deleted a lot of the laws on this legislation, only because it's a kind of a system. They'll just get new victims all the time. Okay, it's a money laundering system too, and everything else serious involving any family or individual. But yeah, so they call it micromanaging, but it is called in the criminal jurisdiction participation in organised criminal groups. So basically all they've done is trying to modernise the criminal, the government system using substitutes, okay? But you can't modernise criminal acts or anything like that. In fact, I think everyone is actually in more serious danger now than any other generation in the past, because it's a global game and it's a sport. Like, people, innocent civilians are actually getting murdered. Real innocent, decent people, and they end up being trapped and don't know what to do. But yeah, so this is what is actually called, and it's actually 10 years imprisonment for everyone that participates. So the starting point of any incidents of why people end up being cybercrime or cyberbully, or why alliances end up being very hostile and, eventually can actually kill or destroy any individual or any state or any culture or any religion or any race, starts from character assassination, which is a breach. But then what they actually do first, of course, is just from a breach and misuse of devices, they can target individuals and study them just under monitoring them. Okay, so monitoring and surveillance, even though it seems to be acceptable, it is still illegal if criminal incidents has occurred where individuals are murdered or are being sabotaged or anything like what I've gone through. Everyone that has access and is liable for any criminal charges in the criminal jurisdiction. But I'm just going through the New Age system. But they do, like, what the misuse of devices and the character assassination is also, they're out to destroy your reputation or everything good that you've lived for or you represent, or what your belief eventually gets destroyed. And the whole idea is whoever's behind doing that, their mindset is criminal. They want free money. They want to take over somebody else's reputation without getting caught. But yeah, the old system would never allow this kind of thing to even take place, but it is what it is. And so that's why I'm compelled to actually tell my testimony and everything that I've gone through, because I feel this is something that God had prepared for me for years ago. So I'm just going with it. This is my journey, and I'm accountable to God for my motives and intents. He looks at my heart, whether my motives and intent is pure. And if you're like me, honest person, mind your own business, and then you have all these kind of things going on in your private space you don't know and you can't understand, don't make sense, and you get stuck, it's very likely you've been attacked by secret societies, secretly conspiring against you. The thing is, it's a global game, so it makes it even more serious for everyone. Okay, so before I continue, I like to refer to the law. Sometimes I forget to, but just so for your understanding, according to the law, a victim is a person classified in the legislation as a vulnerable adult. So anyone can be a vulnerable adult. That would be like what I've just explained. Someone who mind their own business. You are supposed to be protected by the government or by those in authority. Their first priority is to protect victims, not defendants. Okay, so we'll make that very clear. You can't be the defendant or the offender, and you can't be the victim. Okay, so a victim is like best described as a child. When children, there's an age that goes to a certain age where a child is classified as being innocent. So they're innocent anyway to a certain point, until, meaning some laws, if they commit a crime, they're innocent and they don't get treated like an adult would, Whereas if an adult offends, an adult is meant to be a mature person who knows exactly what they're doing, and unless they've got very serious mental health issues, which does happen, mental health issue. Some people do have very serious mental health issues and are a danger to themselves and to society. So, that can allow them to get off why they have committed certain crimes. But if you're a vulnerable adult and you mind your own business, you're oblivious to the laws, you're just going about normal things in life and blah blah blah, then you become a vulnerable adult. A vulnerable adult is also classified as those who work for the government, who are good, honest people who are not involved in any form of corruption or participating in anything illegal. Okay, the moment you do that, you become an offender. So just, when people do anything unlawful, they definitely become an offender if they get caught, or if they have participated in any way, they become an offender. Okay, so whether they are a body corporate or an individual, if the evidence can clearly show you've all participated in dehumanizing a individual or to take down our business, that becomes a very serious criminal case automatically. So that hasn't changed. I'm just explaining what the law actually means so you know. So this here is what the monitoring system seems to be, okay, because these humans behind these scenes, they don't have any natural power, like any supernatural powers or anything like that, other than they can only just watch what they see on the screen, okay? But organized crime are easily can happen just from people using their jobs and texting and letting their people know, and then they're able to sabotage things. But if they're coding individuals and heaps of people in the community or society or out in public already know about the games, then you've got the victims, who are actually the originals, are in more serious danger, because they don't even know that they are being subject to a sport-like game. And that's what's the evidence will show, all that and proof going back to 2010. It explains why I couldn't understand what I was going through in my personal space. And I'm like going out normally, minding my own business, doing my activities, and all these people would come out, and I just know that their motive and intent is not, it's not for good reasons. I couldn't understand why gangs were coming out and making threats. I just knew what I was going through was not natural, and I was trapped in a criminal alliance of people. Yes, they are using their cars, they're using their registration, they're so confident in what they're doing that they're not going to get caught. And of course they are, because they have the upper hand, they're quite confident in their game, they're not going to get caught. But it's still easy to prove. I'm able to prove all that in my court cases. Because of my background, of what I used to do when I was working for the government, and a lot of it also is common sense and personal experiences. So they can change the system, but it ain't going to change the people's heart behind the scene. And it's easy to take advantage of any individual, any state, any religion, any culture. But that's why we have law. But this is the New Age system, and we don't have a choice but go through it. I actually do not like the system. I think it should be abolished, because these people who created this system, they're just money hungry. They only care about themselves, and they're confident in their money and think that it will never backfire on them. But I can confirm 100% that this game can backfire on anybody, literally. So I wouldn't have confidence in your money and what you have, because Yeah, I've just seen it happen. I just know I'm blessed. I'm still alive today, but I feel that I'm supposed to share my testimony to help others. Okay, this is what it actually looks like. Okay, individuals that are original like myself and Henry Cavill, I'm actually using him and what we're going through as a revelation of the historical love triangle that I've been subject to secretly. I didn't even know. But this explains why I'm going through, or why I've gone through what I've gone through. So there are several perpetrators involved. They are linked to your family. Yeah, and you do feel exiled and isolated, and it's dangerous, like you're blacklisted and you're on a black market, all those things. If you're feeling that, it's not you, you're not losing it, and then you have to put up with indirect abuse, psychological and mental abuse, by those who are trying, to conspire evil against you, and nothing is natural. So nothing has been natural and nothing still is natural. Very rare I can talk to a person and I know that they're normal, that they haven't been contaminated, like no one's going around telling them what to say or to repeat something, or stage something. So, but this, it is a category 4 case, okay, and it is definitely a conspiracy. If you don't know what a conspiracy is, well, you're learning very clearly from with everything that I've gone through has been a conspiracy, okay? And that's why I've been denouncing public deception, because in my world, in the legal criminal jurisdiction, your public reputation should be equivalent to your private life, meaning there shouldn't be anything going on strange on the surface while you're minding your own business, doing your private whatever it is. And that is what my case clearly reveals, because I've lived such a private life. It's very clear that secret societies on the surface have been secretly conspiring and stealing and using me illegally without my consent. The penalty for that is 20 years imprisonment for any individual and body corporate. Of course, the body corporate, we can't lock them up in prison, but they get fined, they get shut down, or they get both. Or they get fined, they get charged, and they get shut down, obviously, or they're forced to change their system, because the public welfare is at stake, and civilians are supposed to come first. Their safety comes first before. That's why we have a government. That's why they're paid a lot of money, is to protect civilians. And that's why we have a complaint system. So obviously, most people like myself, like I'm old school. I'm definitely one of those people who love my privacy. I'm a people person too, but I'm more like a reserved person. I've always been like that. That's my culture. I was brought up in a culture and an environment where everyone was basically quite sheltered. Like in the early years, we were discouraged to have TV or anything technology. We were discouraged to to not participate in anything, because they classify that as worldly. But that was the culture I was brought up in. It was a Christian church. So most of my life, while I was growing up in that church, I was brought under that. Under that kind of a culture. But the problem is, what I have found, going through my personal experience, there was no balance. So this system can easily take out cultures like that, where you mind your own business, you're oblivious to the changes of government, you have no clue anything to do with technology or the devices. A lot of things I've had to learn and teach myself, and And I still hate the system because I prefer the old system. I prefer privacy. But if you, the problem is that these people are taking out businesses, or good people's businesses out, and stealing and just taking over their culture, religion, or whatever it is they're after. And the problem is it is a global conspiracy game. They've just become clever to design the system where it's hard for people to even know they're being deceived. I have found that since I lost my privacy, these people do lie. They give me misleading information, or they lie. They make up their own whatever they want to say, but it's all part of participating in a organized criminal group, because the whole idea of having a government is people are meant to abide to the laws. Otherwise, what's the point of even having laws? But what I've gone through is the game involves spiritually, I'd say, witches and warlocks, the opposing allies who obviously hates light, who operate in darkness, and quite clearly, you all know that I don't like being lied to, and everything that I'm saying is definitely 100% my truth. So they are opposing me because of that, and I feel now that I've been personally attacked from the beginning because they knew I was a Christian, and so the illegal scientific experiment they've done to me, they've basically dug up my past to use it against me, or they will record every word I say and then kind of like make me eat it. But yeah, it's been inhumane, absolutely inhumane. But whoever's behind the psychological and mental abuse, they're actually getting a kick out of it. They're getting, they're actually feeding off watching how I react with what they're doing to me. And they have like at the moment my something good goes happen, they destroy it or take it away. So everything is definitely intentional, and they're getting a kick out of it. I've done this bus because one night I drove past, and they're so confident in their evil game. They're making public mockery, and they had a bus like this with said bloodthirsty. So it tells me that they're loving it. They're loving the game, free money. They're enjoying watching other people suffer and stealing for free, not getting caught. I mean, that is what you call mentally retarded people that needs to be locked up in the mental institute. That is what why we have the mental institute is for people who do these kind of things. And believe it or not, only yesterday I just went out yesterday, and I didn't have my phone, but a bus drove past like this with the word bloodsucker on it, and I didn't find it funny. I knew they did that directly to me so that I'll see it. And they had a young guy, somebody I knew, I don't want to say his name, but he only just died recently, look like him, in front of me before this bus came out. And that tells me that boy, or well, he wasn't really a boy, he's 34 years old, was actually murdered. And I don't find that funny. Okay, this was only yesterday, and today is the 9th of March. But then I just went about with my business. But these people are, whoever's doing the organizing of this game, you can tell that's just pure evil. But it tells me that boy, obviously, or that guy, he was 34, but I knew him. I have a reason to believe that individuals are getting code killing, like they're coding people and everyone's families, and then they're making death threats to kill them if I don't, if I do this, if I don't do that, blah blah blah. But that's not on me. That is on the government. When those things happen, that's not on me. I'm going to carry on doing what I'm supposed to be doing and leave the rest up to God. But, for the sake of those that are innocent, what I'm going through is not normal. It is serious. Absolutely serious. They are intimately interfering in every single thing me and Henry are doing. But it's working because the honest people that the society needs to take over the system and get rid of it. But I'm a witness to what I'm going through, and I'm just explaining things as they happen. That only occurred yesterday. I didn't have my camera on, so they must have known I didn't take my camera on. They're watching me, they're listening, and they are glued to my soul historically. But that is really disgusting. And then on my way home, even on the train on my way home, a family of Indians came and sat in front of me where I was, and then they were talking indirectly. Okay, and then there were other people on the bus. They're acting it. They're stage acting it. So all those things need to be investigated and find out who's doing it, because it shouldn't be happening. We should be able to ring the cops and when these things happen and they come and investigate, not sit there at the back and just watch flipping computers and monitoring. That's too late. These people need to be arrested for their wrongful acts on the spot. But these people are linked to the Crown. They're linked to my court cases. They're linked to the government. Historically, they're linked to the global game. So I'm exposing that. But there is... Before I get onto the topic that I'm going to be talking about today, I thought I might as well mention that because that only happened yesterday. And my set of circumstance is linked to Henry. And I've basically kind of cut everybody off, really, because I'm trying to protect everyone, because that's how serious the game is. Then I go driving, and then there's Asian, that they're using their cars and they're staging it. Okay, that is what you call participation in organised crime, and whoever is behind it needs to be arrested. The other thing that I have found is when I ring to make an appointment about something, they're in everything I'm doing, and they're using different people all the time, mix matching, and then they're deleting evidence at the same time. So that is the game I have been subject to since 2008, when I lost my privacy. What my concern is, they are breaking the law in the moment, and then they help each other escape. Some of the alliances in my space are linked to those women I've denounced. They are linked to my court cases. There's 18 judges involved in my court cases, and everybody else who's handled my court cases all are criminally responsible to what has happened to me historically, because it's a conspiracy. Okay, the modern day name they call it is the buddy system. Okay, so what I've gone through and suffered alone over the years, I've had all these people coming in my space and trying to make me feel like I'm a slave and I'm a superior to somebody white, and then they've got all these other people in the middle. I mean, come on, you guys, grow up. That's just disgusting what yous are doing. And while they're doing all this to me, they are secretly stealing. They're not only controlling and manipulating what's on my bank account and what I'm entitled to as a citizen, as far as tax and stuff, they're stealing it. And that's what I can prove. The moment I make a complaint or continue with my court cases, they attack me. But they are pinning me down, always giving them the upper hand. So I'm going to carry on, and it is a Commonwealth game, everyone. Okay, I'm very lucky to be actually alive. You can just tell by the tone of my voice. I'm trying not to get angry, but I am, by right, justifiable anger, justifiable reaction, because they are abusing me, and they are stealing off me, and everything I've said tried to use the system to save other lives, and today they're all gone. So yeah, I'm angry. So I'm dealing with a sadistic spirit. Okay, it's a evil, demonic, bloodthirsty spirit, and the Bible actually clearly reveals it. It's a global game, and it's nothing. It's heinous crimes. The laws call it serious violent offences, and it's a Commonwealth public scam game. For the length of time it's gone on, and it's global. I've put it all here. This is what it means. So this is the spirit that is suppressing me. Okay, I'm not cursed. They find me a threat. And unfortunately what they've done, what these people who behind all this, or who are impeding rescue or perverting the course of justice, they're sacrificing themselves to save, those who have broken the law in government. That's what they're actually doing. It's because of all the things they've done to me. They've gone too far, and they just want to continue and cover up. But spiritually, the Bible calls this, this is what the Bible calls the evil spirit, what is demonic, but people are actually acting it out. So that's why I haven't committed suicide, even though I've suffered. They have just taken, they've I can't even comprehend how serious what they've done. As far as I'm concerned, these people need to be locked up in a mental institute. They are a danger to society, and those who ignore it and are behind it, you need to be lost. You need to leave your job or be fired, because that is not why we have laws. Okay, so I swear to God, I swear on the Bible, all the things that I'm saying that is happening to me, the incidents that are happening, is true as I speak it. Okay, it's a left behind case, so that's why they've all doing what they're doing quite confidently, because they've studied me for years. So little do they know that anything even though they're doing their stage and stalking, even though whoever is organizing it, and they're using different people all the time, because they don't want to, they want to appear to be normal citizens, yet their motive and intent is actually a criminal intent. So by law, even though they are, they've come in my space, sat down in my space, looking normal, like a normal good citizen, but because they're doing their indirect thing, the motive and intent is still a criminal intent. So basically they will, how can they find out if this person is, who organized it? Easy. They need to just find that out. It is a conspiracy, but that is what you call a conspiracy. So it's basically organized crime versus what is natural. Okay, so when a staged environment is staged, it's not natural, it's organized. So it's quite easy for the professional criminal lawyers and judges to find out who's behind the organized. But that also makes the corporate body, they're also become in trouble too, because members of their people are using their jobs to do what they're doing. So you can't be both. So you got all that going on, all those people with these kind of spirits going on. Some people, if they can do something, get away with it, they'll do it. They don't care. Heaps of other religions and cultures, different people globally have used me just to get a foot in the door. That's what they've done. That is what they've done, and I have not appreciated it. Yes, my case definitely falls under suicidal pact, aiding and abetting suicide. I've charged the Ministry of Health for that because I can actually prove that in my profile. Because they've all animated and inanimated me, and the evidence is very black and white. They are stealing. There's quite clear evidence of that, and the people do come out like when I'm by myself all the time. It's annoying. So little do those who are doing what they're doing, they can do their darkness, and if I expose you, you'll get investigated and you become criminally responsible if you get caught. But so this all these things has taken place on me, and this should never ever happen to any individual in any generation where they've locked themselves into somebody's soul. But that is what the illegal scientific experiment happens. If you don't know, but you do know now because I'm going to tell you, when it comes to serious indictable cases like mine, all the laws going back to when this all happened to me all comes active, meaning every single person, every single government authority at that point of time are all investigated for their wrongdoing of what's happened to me historically, because it's affected the church, it's affected a lot of innocent civilians. And just like any other criminal cases, like example, if rape is taking place, doesn't matter if it's like 40 years old, 50 years old, people can still be made accountable, and that's the same for warlike crimes. And that is what they've done to me. So every single thing will be undone, and all the laws that they've deleted will all become active in my case, because that's why I have been consistent with everything, and the evidence is quite clear, that they have used me to change the laws and that I am the victim. Okay, so that is what happens in a criminal case. This system is actually set out where they can do what they've done to me historically, and then they all think they can go and live their happy life and live off other people's money while other people are suffering and trying to go forward, or they're stealing other people's good fruits. So this is all these things here takes place. There's probably other things that I haven't added on. But larceny actually means when I keep forgetting to explain it, but I just looked it up just to confirm. But it is when they are taking somebody's good work or somebody's property and making it their own. So that is what everyone has done, and that's where the relationship has come in. I'm not racist, I'm not biased or anything. I'm the victim, and I have to describe what they've done. So unfortunately, Aotearoa and the white supremacists, I believe that they've actually made some kind of a treaty or some kind of, I don't know what they want to call it, where they're actually helping each other and commit these crimes and make sure it doesn't backfire. A lot of people have passed away, but that's not my problem. I'm allowed to have justice for what everyone has done to me. I have not consented it. There's nothing wrong with my mind. I'm not mentally impaired in any way. But yeah, so this is what I'm up against. And the whole idea is at least give other innocent civilians the chance to protect their own families, and to stop on all changes to make sure that this system gets abolished and doesn't happen again. And it is a global game. I'm just doing my bit because I feel this is what God has trained me for all these years, even though I didn't know it. So so that I'll carry on. Okay, so they have definitely used me for relationship scams to enable them to change the system like they have, even though I didn't know in the beginning. I knew I was under something beyond me. And there were things you can't prove at the point of time. It's like your word against theirs, but now I can actually prove it, and I can still bring up evidence. Even if they've deleted things and people have died, it can still be done. But this is what they've used me for, is relationship scam. The motive and intent is being criminal. And they do, they're stealing all my good fruits, literally, and making it their own. This is where other nationalities have used their women, pretending that I am Māori, or I am Cook Island, or I am Indian, or I am Asian, or I am European. That is what they're using me for, and yet they're stealing off me. Like, they've used me like a human generator. Historically, they've used me for movie ideas. Sometimes I get backlash or memories about things I've gone through. I just I marvel at how long they've made me go through what I've gone through historically. So I believe all those people who have participated will reap their consequences for what they've done. But it's definitely been a love triangle, and I've put a knife there because they've basically, what they're doing to me, they are trying to make me commit suicide, or there are things to make somebody commit suicide. What they're doing to me, it's so intimate, so personal, and my privacy is completely gone. They don't only just steal, but then they come back and they mock you, or they sabotage, and then they come in your space and they're talking and directly mocking. I mean, that's just not normal. So keep in mind, treason, there is, with what I've gone through, treason is taking place. Okay, so which means, if everyone is online now, if this is online, if everybody is online now, what I'm going through, you will go through, because treason, everyone, is easily can end up going through what I'm going through. You may be even going through it now, you don't know it. But when treason laws are broken, it means it's internal corruption, and people globally are operating globally, at spying on you and on your business and on your family. It shouldn't be happening, but that is what I've gone through since 2008. That I'm very sure of. It's consistent. It is a dehumanizing of a human being, but businesses can all get caught up at this. Like, a lot of innocent civilians has participated or ignored what's been going on, but they didn't know. If they knew the seriousness of what lays ahead, I'm quite sure they wouldn't participate in anything corruption. But that is the consequences of privacy breaches and organized crime, and having inexperienced people, getting rid of your good people and then replacing them, like the people you use for your work as your employee. They are using their jobs, like someone inside your job or inside using their occupation to participate in these crimes. Okay. So the best way to describe what me and Henry's gone through in our circumstances, in everything can be undone, and easily find out, even our bank accounts, find out why this and that didn't happen. But it's quite clear, there's a lot of really serious incidents in our relationship, and this is consistent with every other relationship involving myself. But my profile clearly shows that there is a consistency of a dehumanizing of an individual and other people secretly stealing. I mean, I'm the victim. How else can I defend myself if the government system is not working? Okay, so they've known it's internal corruption. They know that they think they can get away with it, so they're doing it willingly. But they are in the moment in your personal space, and that's what they've done to me. So my case is 100% a criminal case. So definitely hostage taking is taken out, like that's 14 years imprisonment. So most of my posts to do with the laws, just so you all know. But basically me translating what the actual legislation means in plain English for those that don't know how to read the legislation, because, law stuff is actually really mind-blowing. It's not easy to actually interpret. It takes years to interpret something accurately. Just because you get a law degree, it doesn't mean you qualify or you're an expert of anything. It's only a piece of paper, but experience, it takes years to actually gain my kind of experience and my kind of knowledge. So what you get from my channel is actually privileged information. But also keep in mind that every set of circumstance, or every individual, or every culture, or every case, like there is no case exactly the same. So it doesn't mean just because, like, for a good example, a robbery, well, there's all kinds of different robberies. What I'm trying to explain plain English is that no set of circumstance is exactly the same. So the laws, they are interpreted to my set of circumstances. So it doesn't mean, you've gone through this, and this doesn't mean it's going to be the same for you. So it depends on each incident and the outcome and the environment and the crime scene. But I'm just describing in my own words what the laws is in plain English, and relating them to my personal profile as an individual. Okay, so the laws is actually set out for body corporate and individuals, and how an experienced person looking in will, how they will look at it with a fresh mind, as they will audit you with the laws. They will audit you as an individual. They will audit your corporate body as an individual. And they will audit you according to the laws, whether you've breached it. That is how Serious Fraud Office or any competent investigator will go by. And even in a criminal case, which is I can clearly prove, and so you can be charged for that. I got this up, and I thought, because of the system, I've noticed that this system, some religions and cultures, like women can be targeted, whether they're pregnant or be used for other secret societies to have children, and then they steal their children off them, and then they sell their children. I have known cases of that to happen, where women are can be used for that. It's like organ harvesting. And then I also notice that what I've gone through is that some doctors are telling women to abort their babies and stuff like that. We still have laws that these people can be charged for, and they used to be 12 weeks, and now they've changed it to 20 weeks. But yeah, so killing of an unborn child is actually 14 years imprisonment. Okay, so what I found is these cultures and religions behind what I'm going through are doing that. They're trying to control, other people. They're trying to force their beliefs on other people. That's what I found, which is unfair. So, and I'm not racist and biased. Everyone that knows me personally knows that I am actually a Christian. So part of the scientific experiment that they've done to me, they've tried to, they've not only made things actually really difficult for me, but because they know everyone looks up to me, when I was going to church and everything like that, quite regularly, that they've done the opposite. they've set me up in situations that have been out of my control, and this is why I believe I still have the favor of God, and I because God sees my heart. So what I'm trying to say is, it's don't judge by appearances, but judge with righteous judgments. That's what the Bible encourages people to do. There's a reason for that, because my situation, what I've gone through personally, has been out of my control. I've been subject to illegal scientific experiment. People are in my set of circumstances, stealing my intellectual property. They're glued to everything I'm doing. And then I've had other religions and culture abuse me, or abuse the system to abuse me, and then watch me under the camera, with my reaction, and then they use it against me. They're recording me. And so I didn't even know what mental anguish was until I went through it, and until I actually lost my job. And then I just, everything, the reality of everything I went through hit me. The flashback of what all the abuse the courts did to me when I was working for my employer. I just minded my own business, and all of a sudden I lost my job, or they derailed me out. They bullied me out. And so I went through mental anguish, and then I still had to put up with what I'm going through today, abuse from the public. I mean, come on, I'm only a human being. And so I started dealing with my mental anguish. I would swear. I never swore in my life before, when I was really going on with God. I still am in my own way. That's my journey between me and God. But the abuse, that was my reaction. Like, people have different ways of reacting to pain and suffering. Others would turn to drugs. Others would drink alcohol. Others would turn to sex, or different relationship. But I haven't done any of those things. But I have developed, when I get angry, or just the frustration of it, because they're abusing me, no relief, and then they're stealing as soon as I put my energy on positive things, whatever it is, whether it's my court cases. And I admit I am super intelligent. I'm very gifted. I know that, and I give God the glory for that. But other people have known that, and then I've had where a lot of good men have fallen in love with me. So other religions have used me to steal, or they've actually stolen everything from me for themselves, which is illegal. But I'm just describing personally what everyone has done to me. Yes, my personality is very strong, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I am who I am, because that is who God, everything I have earned, I've earned out of my own personal journey, or my own hard work. I'm talking about my gifts. But yeah, so what everyone has done to me is it's the kind of things that World War I and II took place. Okay, because eventually takes over. Somebody's secret, somebody's personal territory. So that is what has happened to me personally. So I've suffered with that, with the mental anguish. Every now and then I would react, and I know that I've done it publicly, but it's justifiable. Okay, that's my struggles, and something I need to get through. But they've kept abusing me. They've kept me in the box while they steal, and they're actually stealing my happiness. Okay, they've caused division in my family, and I can't, everyone has been affected, and everything has been against my will. It's nothing nothing that has happened to me has been intentional. Maybe just the one wrong decision where I put my guard down, but anyway, that's something, but that's my sin, that's nobody else's sin. But our walk in our journey personally with God is actually a personal walk. But I've had all kinds of people judge me for everything. But I have found that in the system that other religions are using me, that, they want me to do things, they're lying. They've falsified my medical records. Okay, I swear to God, they are lying. So this is what they've done to me. So mens rea, if you don't know anything about criminal, if they're already guilty, I've charged the Ministry of Health already, and I will be I've charged the City Med. It doesn't matter if they've changed their name, okay? It doesn't matter. Okay, there's a way around everything. Everything comes undone like it was normal. That's how a conspiracy case like mine, because a lot of people have committed serious crimes and they've gone and changed the names of the company, and then they go and then they help each other escape. That's where the coding comes in. But in my case, when people get charged, mens rea criminal charges, they're already guilty because it's happened. So it's an instant fine, instant shutdown for them, and instant criminal charges. For corporate bodies, it will be the CEO of the corporate bodies and all the members involved in my cases. That's how it works. So it's already happened, so they're guilty. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly, I know everyone's waiting for my court case to find out what's going on with the criminal jurisdiction. So I did go into court at the High Court, and the High Court and the District Court, they've locked me out. I don't want to blabber on too much because I've gone too long on this case. This is the topic I'm talking about today, is the criminal case against the Ministry of Health and City Med, okay? All the other corporate bodies will be charged accordingly. New Zealand Police hasn't been charged. I'm still waiting for an order to be made, and we're still waiting for an order to be made for the PSA, okay? So they haven't been charged yet, but Ministry of Justice will be charged. I'm yet to still do that. I'm going through so much, but the High Court, the court registrars have all participated in the game of blocking me and lying to me, and just messing up my file. It's been really frustrating on me, but that is what they're doing to me publicly too, under the cameras, and they know that they're going to do it because they're watching me and everything I'm doing. So I did go into the High Court, and I'm actually doing I'm guided by what they're telling me to do, and then so I do what one registrar says at the High Court to go to the District Court, and then I check with the criminal the laws. The laws clearly, well, they've changed it now. Any indictable cases or criminal cases like mine, it has to go through the District Court first, apparently, then it's supposed to go through the District Court process, and then it's supposed to go to the where is it supposed to go? And then it's supposed to go, hang on. They said it has to be lodged first at the District Court, and I don't see the sense in that because they're High Court charges. I did contest that with the registrar. I said, why not just leave it at the High Court and let the High Court criminal judge deal with it? But they said no. They said it had to go first to the District Court judge, through the District Court system, and then go through the Chief Judge or to a District Court judge. And then from there, it goes and then they have to make a decision before it actually goes to the High Court, okay? So if you've watched my other video clips, I've already talked about how they abused me during this whole process, and they have really seriously gone too far with what they've done to me historically. They don't want me to lodge they don't want to. They're supporting each other, so they're biased and they're prejudiced. So the recent update to do with this case is that after all the running around and them lying to me and them abusing me, I decided that I would take the case to the High Court and have a criminal High Court judge to actually assess the file. Okay, I've already what have I done? I've already exhausted the justice system from going to the Court of Appeal, to the Supreme Court. So they're just making me go around in circles, and I went through the judiciary review process. I've done everything right, and only for it I just got notified that the judge didn't do anything with it. Went before His Honour Judge Justice Downs, and it was a decision. The decision was made by District Court Judge G.A. Ray on the 10th of October 2024, because I know a lot of people think, because I'm telling you guys that I'm the first one who's done this far, and I am, but I also know people are looking on to trying to find out about the criminal case in the criminal jurisdiction. It is a private prosecution. I don't know how they handle private prosecutions, but my understanding is they don't put it in the court system. Why is the reason why, when other nosy registrars go up and look up, see if my case is in there, and they think I'm lying. And so what they're doing, the public are humiliating me because they think I'm lying, and I'm saying this is happening and this is happening, and it's true. But public prosecution, I'm under the understanding it's private. They've done everything private in regards to me, but I haven't consented to it. So what has actually happened, I did decide to go to lodge my criminal case at the High Court criminal. I wanted a criminal judge to have a look at the case, because usually in the old system, a judge would refer a criminal crown to take over a case like mine, because that's what should happen, really, because I'm the victim. Everyone can see I'm the victim. And that's all I want. I just want to go forward. I don't know what they want me to do. I can't get a job. I can't go forward. And even when I do everything right to try and get a job, because I know I'm one of these people, why be on a benefit when you can work? And there's nothing wrong with me. I know I'm intellectually smart. I know I can do quite a lot of things. I'm quite talented, and but people are stealing it. Okay, so leading up, before the end of the year last year, I decided to put my proposals together, and I was going to start up my own business, and only to get people sabotage and steal it. I'm being sabotaged. That is what I've had to put up with. So anyway, I went to, I've left that. This is the actual email. Okay, I received it from the High Court on the 6th of March. They're not only just sending me emails, I'm getting threatened, emotionally threatened in the moment, every day, and they're sabotaging and taking me down on a downhill financial ruin. Pardon me. My situation is justifiable with everything I'm going through. But this is what I've got. The judge has actually, what did the judge say? The judge has, I'll read what it says, because they're threatening me about my court cases. Okay, I don't care if I die doing what I'm doing, because I know what I'm doing is right. So they have, so what I asked the judge is to actually assess it, okay? And she's written, His Honour has briefly cited your documents and directed these documents to be returned. Okay, so the judge has briefly cited it. And then she has advised me to that I have to actually go through the judicial review process. So they're wanting me to go through the judicial review process for this criminal case, meaning they're going to steal my work. They are stealing my work, I'm telling you. Okay? All the court cases that I've been doing, they're making me work. They're stealing my hard work and making it their own. That is illegal, and that is my experience. So here, Justice Downs has noted that His Honour Judge Ray has determined that your 30 charging documents proposed as private prosecution not to be accepted for filing in the District Court at Waitakere. I appealed that in the memo because I was able to, and I didn't know. And I was shocked at first because of the seriousness of the case and the things that Judge Ray had written. It wasn't my fault. It was a direction by the judge, by the court registrar, who was brand new, didn't know the system himself, where I didn't sign the charging documents in the first time when it was sent to Judge Ray. So that was one of the things he wrote down, was because I hadn't signed it. That's what he meant. And so because when I had done the charging documents, it was double-sided. But the registrar has sent it just the front cover. I did make the suggestion to the judge, to the deputy registrar, that needs to be signed because that's what the legislation said, and to actually make it official. And he said, we'll just send it like this, and that's how it was sent. So that's not my fault. That was the instruction by the court. But I did go back and I have officially signed those charging documents, and according to the law in the legislation, Ministry of Health and City Med are legally charged. Okay? But the judge is Justice Downs from the High Court, and he's declined it under that. This is shocking for me. Okay, this is appalling. This is appalling. They expect me to live in this kind of an environment I'm living under, being abused psychologically and mentally abused, and not being able to go forward financially, and they expect me to live like this. Anyway, this is the new system. So just so you all know, the Ministry of Health has been charged 30 charging documents. They have been signed by myself legally in front of court deputy registrar. So whether I live or die, another criminal barrister can take over my case, but because I'm still alive, I can still represent and charge them. Okay, there's a law that actually covers everything that I'm saying. But I was advised by the High Court that I have to actually go through the judiciary review again. Okay, yeah. Welcome to the New Age system, everyone. Keeping in mind, it's been global. Where is the fairness of any single individual? How can they survive such a system when globally, historically since 2010, they have been in everything that I'm doing? Anyway, that is what it is. So that was given to me by this criminal, she's a case flow manager. Okay, so this is a Category 4 case. So what you are witnessing on my personal profile and social media is definitely an advanced conspiracy. It's indirect crimes, causing from privacy breaches going backwards, meaning every single law going backwards when all this started all comes live to my case, meaning all the corporate bodies, all the registrars involved in my case, all the judges involved in my case, all the citizens involved in my case will all be investigated and made accountable for conspiracy crimes. Okay, so I don't know if you know that, but by law, that is what actually happens. Every single law that they have deleted all comes active. Okay, automatically. That's the beauty of a criminal jurisdiction, and that will never change. Okay, I'm going to quickly finish up. I've gone longer than I've wanted. But I'm quite sure some of you are really enjoying my video clips. Thank you for those that have commented. I do appreciate it, but I know there's heaps of people who loves my video clips are just scared to comment, but that's okay. It's better to know what to do than not know what to do. Spiritually speaking, and according to the Bible, people have judged me with all kinds of judgments because I'm not their cup of tea. Not that I care what anyone thinks about me. I've never been that type of person to care about what other people think. But when it comes to doing the right thing, I will stand strongly against it. But so clearly there's bias and prejudice going on with what's happened to me. I'm the victim. All I want is just to go forward and have my freedom to go forward. But if you're a Christian, the Bible clearly says that if you show partiality, you commit sin. Okay, so from my own personal experience, I can actually confirm that the Bible itself is definitely living and it is powerful, and that the actual Bible and the laws actually link to the Bible. The laws actually were written by righteous, godly men and women from going backwards to their generation, and that is what I can actually confirm from my own personal experience and my own personal research. And a lot of it has been revealed to me because of my own personal journey and just from my Bible reading, what the actual verses actually mean and what it is, being a true born again Christian. And the Bible clearly talks about the spiritual realm, and clearly talks about there's a life after death. And I know some religions don't believe in that, and that's quite obvious by how cruel the system is. The system supports their cruel. It's definitely, they're not motivated by integrity. They're motivated by money and power. And then, the motive and intent is not for the innocent civilians, because that's why we have even a criminal jurisdiction. I'll just actually think it's appropriate that I actually refer to this law. I feel this law here is appropriate where conspiracy to bring false accusation. And I have found that what everyone has done to me and Henry, and possibly, other people, is conspiracy to bring false accusation. Okay, this law is 14 years imprisonment. So everything that they have said about me in writing has been lies. Okay, and then with all the public deception that they're warring against me and I'm warring against them, my truth versus their deception, and then it's up to the public to decide who is telling the truth, and the public can decide what is more important, corruption or the truth. I've been outnumbered for a long time, and I feel this is my time to actually speak my truth. I just feel it's just the right time that I've said a lot of things that I've said to share because I have actually really minded my own business, and people have definitely misunderstood me. But that, I think everyone can see the danger of actually minding your own business, and you have got all the secret societies using the social media. I hate the social media still. I hate it. I hate, if I could choose what I'd prefer my old life back where I was private and none of all this happened. But it is what it is. But for those that don't know, but this law here to bring false accusation on an individual, going backwards when this is actually in the Crimes Act 1961. So you can even just tell the spiritual reasons why these laws came about. But back in the days, if anyone conspired to bring false accusation on anyone that is innocent, it says clearly, to a person knowing that that person is innocent, the death penalty was involved then. Okay, you can just tell spiritually, just by this actual charge here, that the reason why it came about. Okay, so everything that everyone has accused me of, or anyone innocent, Henry Cavill's innocent. Or there are a lot of other innocent people, an innocent civilian or an innocent person working in government. And that's why we have laws, because they're supposed to actually abide to the laws, not do their own thing. But the system is actually really cold. Like, you can just tell the way they write their judgments sometimes, or write their minutes. It's very cold, but it's because it's organized crime, and they don't see you as a human being. They see you as an object. It's actually not funny, but I'm just like, sometimes I'm just so overwhelmed. But this here used to be the death penalty in 1989, right here. That was what my research found. So there you go. So it clearly tells me too that it's very likely, and I feel it is, that true Christianity has been is the actual religion that all these other people are trying to wipe out. But yeah. So don't forget, it's all about integrity, not corruption. And so I'll just go with it. And perjury is 14 years imprisonment. Okay, that's for anybody internal who breaks the law from a single breach. So participation in organised crime is contributing that his or her contributes. So whether it's done in inciting anything, any single breach, if you contribute, you are contributing to a conspiracy. Example like one like mine. Okay. And this is what it actually looks like. Two individuals are trapped. And it's very likely all of you may be trapped. There's probably a lot of you trapped and going through what I'm going through and you don't know it. And this here, if you could look it up yourself, but the Bible actually describes scorpions and serpents as, the people acting as humans who have evil motives and intents against you. So I've been actually blessed where discernment's actually very important, knowing what's right and what is wrong. They're not things that people are actually born with, but a lot of it's common sense, and just also what really shows the importance of actually mixing. So there's diversity, mixing with other people, for people skill reasons and stuff like that. That's the kind of life I've had. I've had the best of both worlds, and I've been blessed with so much spiritually with the both worlds and everything else. But yeah, so that's why it's so dangerous when there's no balance in any business, when there's no balance in your life, where, you just only know one thing, but you don't know anything about the other thing. And this is how people end up making, cliquey groups, and they think they're right in their own eyes, but they're not actually. But that's why we have laws, because laws gives us balance and makes everybody accountable. Because when it comes, to serious violent crimes, you'll be judged by the law and the law only. And this is what my environment's been like personally, okay? They hate the truth, they hate me, and, people, they're using different people all the time, but I just feel it. I just feel in my environment that it's not safe for me. So this here is pretty good to kind of measure your own environment. I mean, that's serious that they're even using their jobs. And they're just, using your bank account cards to stalk you or to keep track of you, your FPOS cards. They're using anything to do with your, if you now that everything's online, perpetrators can steal. I have found, even in some of my court cases and my phone calls, they're using different people all the time. And unfortunately, the Indians are quite highlighted in my cases. I know that some of the white supremacies, a lot of rich people, they have slaves. So I think they see some other religions and other cultures as we're just slaves to them. So they go into that mentality, in their jobs, thinking that that's all we are to them. And a lot of people actually look down on others, just because of their status or stuff like that. Unfortunately, the laws are there for to actually stop that kind of thing happening. But this is what actually happens, because a lot of rich people, they do have maids and they do have servants and stuff like that. And when it's global and you got all these billionaires and millionaires doing what they're doing, in reality, people like myself is no match to any of them. Okay. But it is a global game, and it is serious, and it is really, really dangerous. And I've always had a serious mindset, because I don't find I don't find anything funny in hurting somebody. But what people are doing to me has been really, really, is just really disturbing. Like the people who even created the system, it's disturbing. It's not normal. There's nothing natural about it. And I don't know what our government's going to do, but New Zealand is definitely in big danger. I'm not the enemy. I'm not even in anybody's space. I'm being threatened because I'm only telling the truth, and because of my court cases, and so I'm just going with it in the moment, and the threats hasn't stopped. So I suggest that whoever is doing that, unless you want me to expose what you're doing to me in the moment, you need to stop it. Because what you are doing is 14 years imprisonment, even though, it's all done like as if it's normal, but it is organised crime. But also these call centres, they're recording us without our permission, or they don't give us a choice. So I have found that once they do that, there are other times these people in the call centres have interrogated me, and yet they're only supposed to be just call centre people. Most of these call centre individuals are young or inexperienced, or they've been told what to say by whoever is controlling them. So that's how the system is, what I've gone through, and they're doing, as far as I'm concerned, to do with me. They're diverting me to different people all the time, making me repeat. And they've done the same thing with my court cases. All these people involved in my court cases, not one single case officer or one single court registrar or one single judge dealing with it. They're just using, the whole file is exploited, like I am exploited like a human being, making my case a criminal case. So we're dealing with cybercrime internally and externally. Okay, so it is definitely organised crimes. Okay, everyone, I think I'll finish it there. I'm sorry I've gone on a little bit too long, but it is worth watching my video clips. So enjoy the privileged information, and just bear in mind this is my interpretation of my court case. I'm not breaking any laws because I'm the victim. I've exhausted the justice system, and everyone knows in government I'm doing this. So it's been a learning process too for me, and so I hope you all enjoy what you can get out of this, out of my video clips, and hopefully, yeah, just be safe.